Okay, Tony. Watch number 3. Saved, in my opinion, the coolest for last. I'm a huge fan. Huge fan of the 6105. Apparently so is Martha. Hi, Martha. Okay. Let's get rolling. Let's get this completed so we can get all your watches back to you. Okay. Actually, let me first go ahead and... Goodness me. So many noises. Let me just get your hands lined up here while we're thinking about it. There's a hair inside this watch. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Very good. There we have it. Looks pretty good. Okay. Get your winding assembly removed here. Alright. Okay. Looks pretty good. So far, so good. Let's get your die shock out. Now these are certainly on the low end when it came to Seiko's interest in having a watch that was supposed to last for a long time. You can see 2 bushings, no jeweling in the arbor ports, of course. The only pivot that got a jewel in the train, at least in this plate, is the escape wheel. All right, let's go ahead and take your ring out. There's your crown. We will rebuild that. Like the $6 million man, it can be rebuilt. We have to remove this washer and then do some magic. Basically some very precise staking. Not sure if this one has been rebuilt. It doesn't look like... Usually there's a bit of glue here. No, it's pretty stiff. Nope. That has not been changed. That's a more modern thing, is rebuilding these when the well ran dry for actual crowns. People came up with innovative ways of opening them up. So we shall do that. Not an easy process. You gotta be cunning. Okay, out you go. Look at that. Really nice dial and hands. Got a little hair in here. There it goes. Look at that. You can see just this really originalness. You can see the little tiny overlaps here of loom. That's very cool. That's where they went loop and just blopped it in there. Little tiny bit of haze, but look at that stoplight. Wow. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Just so pretty. This dial in hands gets the special green container. Whoops. Sorry. It's late in the day. Okay, let's get this off. Very nice. And there we go. Okay. Now we should be able to take a look at your dial here and determine what the year of manufacture is. Let's have a look at that. Let us have a look. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, so we got some marks here. This one is 6-9 on the dial. And on the case back, we have 6N. Oh, okay, so couple months. That's kind of where we want it. That's what we expect. All right, good deal. Very nice to see. Was really no doubt, but it is nice to confirm things. Okay, so. Let's get to work here. All right, let's put your hands and dial to the side. Okay, got some old lubricant here doing its thing, which is being old and grimy. Let's take your pallet fork off. Now, these movements, they're so interesting. I don't know if it's because of the way that the center stack is held in place. You know, you've got two wheels. You've got your center wheel and you've got your fourth wheel that are all sort of combined right here in the middle with your cannon pinion. And for some odd reason, they get sloppy. Now this one doesn't suffer from that. This one, the fourth wheel is nice and tight in its pivot. There's not much what we call end shake here. Other components, yeah, they also look good. So that tells me, you know, the watch wasn't either dropped or whatever it might have done. Whatever happens to these things, they are very easy to shift those bushings and jewels And sometimes you have to really get in there and adjust things. It's pretty remarkable, in fact, to me, that you need to make those kinds of adjustments. And it's you know, I say this anecdotally because mostly of the 6000 series watches that are 3-hand movements, it's either 6309s, which for some reason aren't as susceptible, maybe because they're just not old like these, or you know, it's just that we don't really work on 3-handed Seiko movements quite as much. You know, all the 6106s and 6119s and all those of this family, they're in watches that people don't really restore, mostly because they don't have a lot of value. Sorry, canned air. So perhaps that's why it seems like they're prevalent, you know, in the divers, those shifts, but it's weird. It's something I don't quite get. Okay, so there's your very dirty barrel and your very messy arbor port. I'm going to just go ahead and take this off. I usually don't leave these in place. Some people do. It's just not my thing. Okay. We will get that cleaned up. Let's go ahead and flip your movement. Right. Good. Okay. And you know, this architecture is shared with the 6117 excuse me, 6117 World Times, and you don't really see it that often there. I've restored quite a few of those, probably maybe almost as many as, no, it can't be as many as the divers. They're also, for some reason, I mean, they're valuable, but they're not quite where these things are. The popularity of the Willards and the slim case 6105s has kind of hit a remarkable level. I think it's cool. I mean, they certainly were undervalued for a long time. Kind of remind me of, you know, like Porsche 912s. They were undervalued for most of the last 30 years till recently. That's a whole nother discussion. Anyway, okay, let's get to work on the calendar. Now that was supposed to come out. Okay, nope, come on. There we go. Very good. Die shock. Yeah, so sometimes I'll even jewel, like if it's a personal watch, not necessarily if a customer hasn't asked me specifically to really jewel all their plates. I won't, just because it's expensive. But if it's one of my personal watches, I will, for example, make these 2 jewels. But that's not really necessary. The bushings work just fine. I think it's just a little over the topedness to remove the bushings. Okay, cannon pinion. Again, a little loose. May have to tighten that one up just a hair. Okay. So looks good here, nice and clean. I don't think this watch has ever been serviced. Doesn't look that way. I can sort of tell by the condition of the screws and the way that things look. It's interesting that it had a hair inside of it. I don't know if that's from maybe just changing the crystal at some point or whatever might have transpired in the life of this watch. Somehow something got inside, but no problem. There we go. Keyless works. There's your spring. Didn't go sproing. Curse sproing. little bit of lubrication still here underneath, holding this thing down. Ooh, baby. It doesn't want to go anywhere. Come on, there we go. Okay, boink. That's it. That's the teardown. Okay, so we have some cleaning to do. We have some jeweling to do. We have some assessing to do. We have some rebuilding to do. And then we will come back when we're ready to put everything together. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, Tony, we are on to your reassembly. Of course, there is your lower mainspring arbor port jewel and its partner, the upper. So those are now installed and doing pretty good. I've run some checks and gotten everybody pre-lubricated, so I think we're ready for action here. Go ahead and start the reassembly process. Your mainspring looked good. It's wasn't in bad shape. It was pretty flat. A little tiny cup, but you know, nothing to lead to any need for replacement. I think it was just fine the way it was. Sometimes there's a little bit of concern, but in this case, no problem. All right, let's make sure we put the hacking lever in place. An essential feature of this particular watch. Okay. I always take a look through the loop on every one of these 2 or 3 times before they go in to ensure that we've done our darndest to keep any small fuzzies or little pieces of dust or debris from finding its way into the train. It always helps to check more than once. Of course, they're clean, but you know, we don't live in a world where particles that are, you know, under a couple hundred microns, they're always out in the atmosphere and floating around, and that can just land anywhere. And even though they're stored away inside little boxes with lids and all that kind of stuff, they can end up everywhere, and on your movement is inside of your movement is no good. That is not the place where you want them to be. So we are always checking and double checking for any sorts of external fuzziness, pieces we don't want. Okay, so now lubricate your upper bushing here, upper arbor. Okay. takes a very light touch, a very small amount of jiggling. And in the pivots go. Right. Okay. Now it's down to lubrication. So I'm going to lubricate your pivots. Okay. Go ahead and put your click spring. Whoop. There's your click. Click and spring in one unit. It's interesting, in the later 6000 series movements, they went away from using a special screw for this spot and just went ahead and used the same size and shape screw as goes into your pallet fork bridge, which is the same screw that's essentially used in all the all of the spots in a 6309 or your 6306, for example. So anyway, efficiencies. Seiko efficiencies. Leaves them with one less screw to manufacture and put into the movement. Okay. Looks pretty good. Okay, let's go ahead and flip the movement and install some of the components on this side. We have to put in your cannon pinion. We may have to take that back off and tighten it up a little bit, but we're going to see how it goes on here, and then we're going to make a decision. Okay. For now, we're going to leave it. Oh, no, come on. Oh. Tiddlywinks. The evil tiddlywinks. Okay, let's lubricate your pivots. Okay, and there we go. Let's flip back over. Okay. Alright, so now it's time for your pallet fork. Okay. That went the right way. That's good. Power up your mainspring here. These are the screws that I'm talking about. Sort of universally applied to the 6000s. At least the non-chronograph 6000s have all bunch of screws that look like these, especially on the 6309s and 6306s. Essentially hold down everything except for the main bridge. Okay, so that's that. Next up is the all-important balance. Hopefully this one will be super smooth and easy. This was a movement that didn't see a lot of use, I don't think, so it usually bodes well for the outcome of service. Okay. It's running. Okay. It's a shame because a lot of these watches were in the hands of folks who were perhaps not so careful with their work, and a lot of times these balances get yanked on and bent, or the pivots wear out, or something happens, and that's a pain to deal with. All right, so this one though, running good. Let's check and see how we did. Right back. Okay, Tony. Well, starting above 200 is always nice to see. That's always good. We're gonna make some adjustments here and see if we can get things even better. Let's see what happens here. Let's take out some of this beat error. So right now, like you'd asked me, let me actually show you. So to get beat error out, I need to adjust this component right here. And that's the stud. That's where the hairspring coils up and ends, is right there. And what that does is that rotates, I'm not even in the frame, that rotates the balance wheel from left to right. And that in turn adjusts where the impulse jewel hits the pallet fork. And if it's a little bit out to one side, tick is longer than tock by the amount shown as beat error. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to narrow that down to be in the center such that tick and tock happen at the same rate. It spends as much time on this side as it does on this side. And that's how we adjust for beat error. Okay, so let's go back. This, before I go back, to adjust the rate itself, that is the relative length of the hairspring. So here's the stud and here's this part right here, which sort of pinches the hairspring and allows it to have a stopping point. And as I move this in this direction, so in a counterclockwise direction, I'm shortening the hairspring, which makes it faster. So that increases the rate. As I go back towards the stud, I'm lengthening the effective hairspring length, and that decreases the rate. So that's how I'm going to make adjustments. So here we are. Let's go ahead and get that process going. And as you can see, we're loosening up. We're getting lubrication in the right spots. We're going to adjust their beat error. So tick and tock. Oh, sometimes these things are sticky and you get crazy jumps. So let's go back. Okay. Hopefully that'll be a bit better. All right. Really tick-tock is out now. All right, so now we're back a little bit. Let's get back some more. Okay. That looks a bit better. Sometimes you go too far and you gotta overcorrect. All right. Whoops. Sorry about that. It's not the easiest thing to film, this process. All right, so let's see if we can get it perfect. Nope, that was the wrong way. Okay. Boy, it's just really tiny maneuvering here. Sometimes it's even hard to tell that you're actually moving the darn thing. Oh, we're close. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, now that we've adjusted the relative position of the impulse jewel, now we can go back, let things settle down for a moment, and we can adjust the rate. That looks pretty good. All right, so we're gaining, so I'm going to shorten the length of the hairspring effectively. The tiny little, oh my gosh, tiny push, what I thought was a tiny push. Now we go back, okay. I'm gaining a little bit. See how close we can get this one. Oh yeah. That dials in nicely. Look at that. Woo! Oh, one too far. Come on. Oh, come on. There if that's good. Sometimes, man, it's so nonlinear. It's like balancing the head of a pin on the end of a pin. Mm-hmm. Now, things are also kind of changing in the movement as we do this, so it's always a bit of a mess. Okay. Right. Not bad. All right, I think we're going to leave that there. We're going to watch it for a minute, see if it recovers nicely. It's going to gain a little, but I think that's okay. It'll eventually work its way around. Yeah, high 220s just in the beginning. Let's see if we can get to 230. Will we get to 230? That's sort of, in my mind, the break point for where we know that we're at good performance. For these movements, anything above 230 is great. So if we can get there, I'll feel better. They also kind of swoop a little bit. They go down, then they go up, and they go down, then they go up. There's always a bit of a back and forth right in the beginning as the lubrication finds its way. Look at that, 231, feeling good. If we can keep above that, I'll feel much better. Oh yeah. That feels pretty good. 232, 233. Okay. So sustaining a little bit. Sustaining above 225. I mean, hey, I'm happy. We're just getting started. This is good. Break-in is not a 2-minute thing. It's a couple hours, maybe even overnight. But yeah, hitting 235. That means it has the potential to be there. It really wants to be at these values. And as that signal smooths out and the lubrication gets its, sort of its way around especially the pallet fork lubrication, that's the important part. As that gets smoothed out and spread evenly over the wheels and the jewels, that's what you want. So, yeah, that's getting nice. Okay, so Tony, this is where we want to be at the beginning here. We're going to cover this up. Look at that, 238. We're going to cover this one up and let it cook. But yeah, a 6105 hitting close to 240. I'm happy. Nice, smooth, clean signal. It means your balance and your hairspring are nice and flat. Everybody's happy. Makes me happy. Yeah, that's good. Okay, we'll let this break in for a bit. We'll come back. Okay, Tony, we are close to the end here. Just gonna go through the last couple things. I went ahead and put some of the calendar side components together. I always like to test the cannon pinion with your keyless works, just to see how tight things are before we go back in the case. Okay, let's do some lubricating here. Okay, let's put your wheel back on. Right. Okay. So I was saying, I was checking your power reserve in your two watches, and the two that we are currently finished with, and they lasted 49 hours for the Pogue, for the 6139, and 50 hours for the 6306. So that's good. That's great. 6306 probably got a little bit of extra winding for me as I was moving it around a little bit, adjusting some of the adjusting it a bit. So anyway, but that's pretty good. That's right where we want to be. Anywhere 40 to 50 hours on power reserve for these watches is about right. Anything less is a little too low. But it's really subjective. It's one of those things where it really depends on how much you're moving around with the watch day to day. Okay, so next stop is dial in hands, and then we're back into the case. We'll be back. Okay, Tony. Well, this is it. This is the end for your final watch. I'm going to go ahead and get your winding assembly installed. Do some final touches here. Make sure everybody's the way they should be. Should be easy. Last few steps. All right, there we go. I like to stabilize a screwdriver on this particular screw because it's so close to the balance that one little tiny slip pushing downward and you can do some damage. Ask me how I know. Not recently, that's for sure, but man, when you're first starting out and you make a mistake, you learn quickly. Failure is always the best teacher. Okay, there we go. And now for your winding weight. And its screw. And there we go. Let's get your brand new case back seal. Put that in place. Okay, and now for Mr. Jones's case back. Should scribe your name into the back. All right, and with that, we do our final look. What a stunner. What an absolute stunner. And there it is. There it is. Your beautiful 6105 from 1976. 8119, the American model. Just beautiful. It's so nice you can't even hardly even see it. The shininess and the reflections are just amazing. It's just so nice. Oh, it's hard to get this right. But it's hacking, so now we close that up. This one turned out really, really nice. I mean, original case lines, beautiful brushing, top and bottom. We got clicks back in your case, nice turns. These new gaskets on the bezels make them what they're supposed to be. They're not supposed to be light and easy to turn because it's a diving bezel. That's what the click ball is supposed to do. It's supposed to keep things solid. Everything works exactly as it should. Your hand alignment is spot on, of course. Go through the functions here. I've rebuilt your crown so it's back together as it should and lubricated with the new gasket. New case back and new bezel seal. So there's your date turnover. Let the beautiful stoplight second hand go by. Go to the first click and do your quick date. So that works just great. Today is the 16th. Set that. Everything locks, everything works. You've got, with this watch, just such great stuff. You've got this amazing band that will come back to you, of course. All your replacement items are here, ready to come home. So I just have to find the bag. Here it is, 6105. All right, so we've got crystal, of course. There's your bushing, bezel, case back, crown seal, all the parts and pieces that were replaced. Everything is exactly as it should be. Oh, there's your funny plastic, oh, very plastic crown seal. That'll go in there. Everybody goes back in the back. All right, well, Tony, it was a real pleasure on this one. It just came out so well. I mean, all of your watches are just fantastic. You know, I'm a sucker for a Willard, but everybody just came out so nice. Let's see if we can get a lineup here. Let's see. I have your 6106 on a band because I had it on the device to put some power in the watch. Here's your 6139. Looking amazing. There they are. The grouping. Some of the best dive and chronograph watches that Seiko ever made. You know, here's the look of your original Willard, of course. Just so stunning. All right, Tony, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy all of these, and I'm really excited to get them back to you. And we'll be in touch. All right, thanks so much. Thanks for watching.